The universe is not random. It is not confused. It is not working against you. The universe responds, precisely and relentlessly, to what you project into it. Every thought you repeat, every word you speak with emotion, every belief you hold consistently sends a signal. And that signal comes back as reality. There are 3 words the universe always obeys. Not sometimes, not when you're lucky, always. Those 3 words are spoken daily by every human being, whether they realize it or not, and they are shaping lives silently, building success for some, and struggle for others. Those 3 words are, I am or it. Whatever follows those words becomes an instruction to the universe. When you say, I am strong, the universe looks for ways to prove it. When you say, I am tired, the universe gives you reasons to stay weak. When you say, I am focused, opportunities align. When you say, I am unlucky, obstacles multiply. The universe does not judge. It does not argue. It does not correct you. It simply agrees. Your identity is your command. Your self-talk is your blueprint. And most people are unknowingly programming failure because they speak doubt, fear, and limitation as facts. Understand this: thoughts are seeds. Words are water. Belief is sunlight. And your life is the harvest. The moment you take control of what follows, I am, you take control of your direction. This is not motivation. This is alignment. This is discipline of language, mind, and belief. Speak strength, even when you feel weak. Speak growth, even when progress is slow. Speak victory, even when the battle is hard, because the universe is always listening, and it always obeys. Choose your 3 words wisely. Most people believe the words they speak are harmless. Just expressions, just habits, just things said in the moment. But the phrase, I am, is not casual language. It is a declaration of identity. When you say, I am what? You are not describing your current mood. You are issuing a command that defines who you become. The universe does not separate intention from identity. It treats every, I am, statement as truth. The moment those words leave your mouth, they establish a pattern. That pattern begins shaping your thoughts, your decisions, your reactions, and ultimately your results. This is why 2 people can face the same situation and experience completely different outcomes, because they are operating under different internal commands. When you say, I am confident, your mind starts searching for proof. Your posture shifts, your tone changes, and your actions align with that identity. When you say, I am weak, your brain looks for confirmation of failure. You hesitate, you doubt, you retreat. The universe follows the same rule. It aligns circumstances with the identity you declare. This is not about pretending or lying to yourself. It is about understanding that identity always comes before evidence. You don't become strong and then say, I am strong. You say, I am strong, and your behavior slowly rises to meet that standard. Every transformation begins with a declaration. The danger is that most people issue negative commands without awareness. I am bad with money. I am unlucky. I am not good enough. These are not observations, they are instructions. Over time, those instructions shape decisions, reduce effort, and create self-fulfilling outcomes that appear to confirm the belief. Once you recognize that, I am what, is a command, you become responsible for every word that follows it. Your language becomes intentional. Your identity becomes chosen, not inherited, and your future begins to shift the moment your declarations change. The universe does not think the way humans think. It does not label things as good or bad, right or wrong, deserved or undeserved. It does not pause to question your words, and it does not try to protect you from your own declarations. It simply responds. Whatever you consistently project outward and inward becomes the signal it works with. When you speak from fear, the universe does not correct you. When you speak from doubt, it does not interrupt. It treats every statement with equal authority. A confident declaration and a limiting belief carry the same weight, because the universe reacts to certainty, not wisdom. This is why people who are deeply wrong, but absolutely convinced often move further than people who are talented but uncertain. Judgment requires evaluation. The universe does not evaluate, it reflects, it mirrors back the energy, belief, and identity you hold most strongly. If you constantly say, nothing works for me, the universe does not argue. It aligns events to match that expectation. Delays appear, motivation drops, opportunities go unnoticed, not as punishment, but as reflection. This lack of judgment is both dangerous and powerful. Dangerous if you are unconscious with your words. Powerful if you become intentional. Because once you understand that nothing is stopping negative beliefs from manifesting, you also realize nothing is stopping positive ones either. The universe does not wait for you to be ready. It does not ask for proof. It does not need logic. It responds to repetition and emotional charge. The more often a belief is spoken or felt, the more real it becomes in your experience. This is why casual negativity can be more destructive than occasional positivity is helpful. When you accept that the universe responds without judgment, responsibility shifts back to you. Your life stops being about luck or fate and starts being about alignment. What you speak, what you believe, and what you repeat becomes the law that governs your outcomes. Your life is not built primarily by circumstances, connections, or luck. It is built by identity. How you see yourself determines how you think, how you act, what you tolerate, and what you pursue. Long before results show up in the outside world, they are formed internally through the image you carry of who you are. Identity acts like a filter. It decides what you notice and what you ignore. A person who believes, "I am capable," sees challenges as tests. A person who believes, "I am limited," sees the same challenges as threats. The situation does not change, only the identity does, and yet the outcome becomes completely different. Your identity controls your standards. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your self-image. If deep down you see yourself as average, inconsistent, or undeserving, you will unconsciously sabotage progress that threatens that identity. Success will feel unfamiliar, uncomfortable, even unsafe, and your behavior will quietly pull you back to what feels normal. This is why external motivation fades so quickly. Motivation tries to push behavior without changing identity, but behavior that conflicts with identity never lasts. You can force discipline for a while, but if you still believe, "I am not that kind of person," the old patterns return. Lasting change happens only when identity is upgraded first. Every "I am" statement strengthens a version of you. Repetition turns that version into default mode. Over time, decisions no longer feel forced, they feel natural. You stop needing constant effort, because your actions are now consistent with who you believe you are. When identity shifts, reality has no choice but to follow. Your environment adjusts to match your standards. Your habits align with your self-image, and your results begin to reflect the person you have decided to be. The most powerful conversations you will ever have are the ones no one else can hear. Your self-talk runs constantly in the background of your mind, shaping decisions, reactions, and expectations without asking for permission. It is silent, repetitive, and deeply influential. Whether you are aware of it or not, this inner dialogue is programming your behavior every single day. Self-talk becomes believable because it is familiar. The more a thought is repeated, the more normal it feels, and the more authority it gains. Eventually, it stops sounding like a thought and starts sounding like truth. This is how temporary emotions turn into permanent beliefs. A single failure becomes, "I always mess things up." One rejection becomes, "I'm not meant for this." Your brain is designed to follow instructions. When your inner voice says, "This is too hard," effort decreases. When it says, "I can figure this out," persistence increases. The words themselves don't create results instantly, but they shape the level of energy, focus, and consistency you bring to every action. Over time, those small shifts compound into major differences in outcomes. Because self-talk is constant, it is more influential than external voices. Motivation from outside can inspire you for minutes or hours, but the voice inside you speaks all day. If that voice is critical, fearful, or limiting, it will override encouragement from others. This is why support alone cannot change someone who constantly speaks against themselves internally. Silent programming is dangerous because it feels natural. People assume their inner voice is simply who they are, not realizing it is a habit they have practiced for years. Once you become aware of this, control returns to you. Changing self-talk is not about forced positivity. It is about choosing language that supports growth instead of reinforcing limitation. Negative declarations may sound harmless in the moment, but over time they become boundaries you live inside without realizing it. When you repeatedly say things like, "I'm not good at this," "I always fail," or "That's just not who I am," you are not describing reality, you are narrowing it. Each statement quietly draws a line that your mind and actions hesitate to cross. The brain treats repeated declarations as instructions. Once a negative belief is accepted, the mind begins to protect it. Effort decreases in areas where failure is expected. Creativity shuts down when success feels impossible. Risk is avoided because the identity attached to the declaration must be preserved. In this way, negative words don't just reflect weakness, they manufacture it. What makes negative declarations especially powerful is how casually they are spoken. People often say them as jokes, complaints, or passing thoughts, unaware that repetition gives them weight. Over time, these statements become automatic responses, spoken without thought, reinforced without challenge. Eventually, the limitation feels factual, even when no real evidence supports it. Negative declarations also influence how opportunities are perceived. When you believe you are incapable, chances appear intimidating instead of exciting. You focus on what could go wrong instead of what could be gained. Even when opportunities are clearly present, they are dismissed or delayed because they conflict with the identity you've declared. These limitations feel external, but they are self-built. They appear as bad luck, lack of confidence, or missed chances, when in reality they are the natural outcome of repeatedly telling yourself what you cannot be. Once a declaration is made often enough, behavior adjusts to ensure it stays true. When you consistently declare a strong, capable, and focused identity, your perception of the world begins to shift. Opportunities do not suddenly appear out of nowhere. Instead, you start recognizing what was always there. A positive identity sharpens awareness. It tunes your mind to notice doors instead of walls, possibilities instead of problems. When you say, "I am disciplined," your actions begin to align with that statement. You prepare differently. You show up with more intention. You make choices that reinforce that identity, even when no one is watching. Over time, people respond to you differently, not because you asked them to, but because confidence, clarity, and consistency are visible and magnetic. Aligned opportunities come from alignment within. When your identity matches growth, your decisions become more strategic. You place yourself in better environments. You speak with more certainty. You take calculated risks instead of avoiding them. These behaviors naturally increase access to people, information, and chances that support progress. A positive identity also changes how you respond to setbacks. Instead of seeing failure as proof of limitation, you interpret it as feedback. This keeps momentum alive. While others quit when faced with resistance, someone with a strong identity adjusts and continues. This persistence often looks like luck from the outside, but it is actually alignment in action. The universe responds to consistency. When your words, beliefs, and actions point in the same direction, friction decreases. Things begin to connect more smoothly, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your identity becomes the filter through which opportunities are recognized, accepted, and acted upon. Words spoken without emotion are weak signals. Words charged with feeling become commands. Emotion is what activates language and turns it into something the mind and the universe respond to. This is why a statement said once with deep conviction can outweigh 100 repetitions spoken casually. Feeling is the force that gives words momentum. The brain prioritizes emotionally charged information. When you speak with strong emotion, fear, belief, confidence, or determination, your nervous system takes it seriously. The message is stored deeper, recalled faster, and acted on more consistently. This is why emotionally intense experiences shape identity so quickly, while neutral experiences fade. Negative emotion attached to words can be destructive. Statements spoken in frustration, anger, or hopelessness often carry more power than calm positive affirmations. Saying, "I'm done," or "I can't take this anymore," in an emotional state sends a strong signal that the mind works hard to confirm. Energy drops, focus scatters, and effort collapses. Positive emotion works the same way. When belief, certainty, and purpose are emotionally charged, they override doubt. Saying, "I will figure this out," with conviction changes posture, breathing, and decision-making instantly. The body responds before logic has time to argue. Emotion moves you into action faster than reasoning ever could. This is why repetition alone is not enough. Words must be felt, not just spoken. Emotion is what turns language into identity and identity into behavior. The stronger the emotional connection to your words, the faster they influence your reality. Your future is being shaped long before results appear, and the shaping happens through language. Words guide thought, thought guides behavior, and behavior compounds into outcomes. When words are left unchecked, the future becomes accidental. When words are chosen deliberately, the future becomes directed. Every repeated phrase you speak about yourself acts like a steering wheel. It subtly adjusts the direction of your decisions, often without your awareness. Saying, "I'll try," programs hesitation. Saying, "I will," programs commitment. These small differences seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they separate consistency from inconsistency. Controlling your words does not mean denying reality. It means refusing to define yourself by temporary states. Fatigue is real, but saying, "I am tired," as an identity makes it permanent. Difficulty is real, but saying, "I am weak," turns a moment into a label. Language decides whether experiences pass through you or stay with you. Discipline in speech creates discipline in action. When you hold yourself to a higher standard of language, excuses lose power, complaints decrease, focus increases. You begin to speak in ways that support progress rather than justify stagnation. This control does not restrict you. It sharpens you. The future responds to consistency, not intensity. One powerful declaration means little if daily language contradicts it. But when your words align day after day with strength, growth, and purpose, direction becomes inevitable. Your vocabulary becomes the framework of the life you are building. The universe is not distant, and it is not deaf. It listens through your words, learns through your repetition, and responds through your results. Every day, you are either reinforcing the life you want or strengthening the limits you hope to escape. Simply by what you say about yourself. Nothing changes until language changes. Nothing grows until identity shifts. The moment you become conscious of your words, you regain control over your direction. Speak with intention. Declare with conviction. Choose your "I am" statements as if your future depends on them, because it does. The universe has always been ready to agree with you. Make sure it's agreeing with the right version of you.